Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep on a really cool student research paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Monotropism Meets Machine, AI-Human Partnership for Inclusive Learning. And get this, it was written right here at CWI by one of our own.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Carrie Draper submitted this for Professor Schoenherr's Psychology 251 class.
Statistical methods.
Right. So, Carrie, let's pretend we're all back in that classroom and you're about to blow everyone away with your findings.
Okay.
All right. So the big question is, how can AI actually help students, especially those with monotropism?
Right.
For those tuning in who might not be familiar with that term.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little Monotropism 101? What is it, and how does it kind of clash with the way we traditionally think about learning and education?
Sure. So monotropism is like this way some people's brains work, where they get super focused on one thing at a time.
Okay.
It's like having a laser focus. And it can be awesome for diving deep into a subject, but it can also make things tricky in environments that are like all over the place, where you have to switch tasks quickly or multitask. Like imagine being in a classroom trying to concentrate on a tough math problem.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the bell rings for the next period. People are chatting, announcements are going off.
Oh, yeah.
For someone with monotropism, all those distractions,
Right.
those can be super disruptive, making it almost impossible to focus.
Makes sense. And that's where AI comes in.
Exactly. That's what my research is all about.
All right. So you focused on three main AI tools: clarification, summarization, and tailored learning.
Yep.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Sure.
can you give us a quick rundown of each tool and why they might be especially helpful for students with monotropism?
You bet. So first up, we've got the clarification tool.
Okay.
Think about it like this. You get assigned a huge research paper, and the instructions are like super confusing.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. So this tool would take those messy instructions,
Yeah.
break them down into simple step-by-step tasks.
Nice.
It's like having a personal assistant who's like, hey, here's what you need to do, no stress.
And that can be really helpful for people who struggle to get started, right?
Absolutely. Especially for folks with monotropism.
Gotcha. What about the summarization tool? How would that work?
Okay, so picture this. You've got a textbook chapter that's like 1,000,000 pages long.
Uh-huh.
Totally overwhelming, right? The summarization tool uses AI to basically condense all that info.
Uh-huh.
So instead of getting bogged down in all the little details, you get a quick summary of the main ideas.
Like Cliff Notes on steroids.
Yeah, something like that.
And that helps reduce cognitive overload.
Exactly. It makes the information way more manageable.
All right. And finally, the tailored learning tool. This one sounds super interesting.
Yeah, so this is where things get really personalized.
Okay.
Imagine an AI that learns about you.
Wow.
Your learning style, what you like, what you don't like, even how you're feeling.
That's wild.
And then it uses all that info to present information in a way that makes sense for you.
So if I learn best through visuals, it would show me more pictures and diagrams.
Exactly. Or maybe you need more breaks to stay focused.
Oh, that's me for sure.
The tailored learning tool would figure all that out and create a custom learning experience just for you.
So it's all about making the tech work for you, not the other way around.
That's the goal. Yeah, instead of you having to force yourself to adapt to some rigid system,
Right.
the system adapts to you.
Now, that's what I call inclusive. So, Carrie, you didn't just dream up these tools. You actually did some real research on them.
Oh, yeah.
Can you walk us through how you actually tested these AI tools?
Yeah.
Because it sounds pretty complex.
Yeah. So instead of doing a traditional study with a ton of people, recruiting participants and all that,
Right.
I decided to do a self-reflective case study.
Interesting.
But then to make it even more interesting, I added in some simulated data.
Simulated data. What's that all about?
So basically, I took my own experiences as a neurodivergent learner,
Okay.
and then I created fake but realistic data
Wow.
for 399 other participants.
Wait, so you basically made up almost 400 people?
Not exactly made up. I use my own responses as a template,
Okay.
and then I tweaked them to create variations.
So different demographics.
Exactly. Different ages, backgrounds, and most importantly, different diagnosis timings.
Diagnosis timings, like when they were diagnosed with monotropism.
Right, because I wanted to see if the AI tools were more or less effective.
Yeah.
Depending on whether someone was diagnosed as a kid or as an adult.
Makes sense, because those diagnosed later,
Right.
they probably missed out on a lot of early support.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got your tools, you've got your data.
Yeah.
Time for the big reveal. Did these AI tools actually work?
Drum roll, please.
Uh-huh.
And the answer is
Don't leave us hanging.
yes. They totally did. Across all 3 tools, the adult diagnosed participants reported much bigger benefits compared to those diagnosed as children.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
it really seems like these AI tools could be a game changer,
I think so.
especially for folks who didn't get that early support.
Exactly.
All right, so let's break it down by tool.
Okay.
Starting with the clarification tool,
Mm-hmm.
what were some of the key benefits people reported?
So the adult diagnosed participants who used this tool,
Yeah.
they said they felt way more confident about understanding their assignments, and they were less likely to procrastinate.
So it helped them get started on things.
Totally. It's like it took away some of that mental block.
I think we could all use a little help with that sometimes.
Oh, true.
What about the summarization tool? How do people feel about that one?
So this one was really good at reducing that feeling of being overwhelmed. People said they could actually grasp the main point without getting lost in all the details. It's like it freed up their brain power.
So they could focus on actually learning. Awesome. And last but not least, how did the tailored learning tool measure up?
This one was all about engagement.
Oh,
By personalizing the way information was presented,
right.
it made learning way more enjoyable.
Makes sense.
People were more motivated, less likely to get distracted.
So it kept them hooked.
Yep. It really shows you how powerful personalized learning can be.
It's the future.
I think so too. So Carrie, this research is super promising,
Thanks.
but beyond just the specific findings, what do you see as the bigger picture implications of this work? How could these AI tools actually change the way we think about education?
It feels like we're really on the edge of something big,
Yeah, like a total game changer.
Totally. I can see a future where classrooms are
Yeah.
completely personalized, where technology adapts to each student's needs,
Wow.
helps them overcome their challenges, really levels the playing field.
So we'd be talking about a massive reduction in learning disparities.
Exactly. Kids who used to struggle in traditional settings.
Could really thrive with the help of AI.
That's an amazing thought. And it's not just about academics, is it?
Nope.
Could AI also play a role in social emotional learning?
Absolutely. Imagine AI tools that could give students personalized feedback on their social interactions.
Interesting.
Or help them navigate tricky emotional situations.
So it's like having a digital emotional coach.
In a way, yeah. It could really help create more supportive learning communities.
It sounds like sci-fi, but it's not that far off, is it?
Not at all. But of course, with any new technology, you got to be careful there are ethical considerations.
Oh, for sure. Like what?
Well, one big one is bias.
Yeah. The algorithms are only as good as the data they're trained on.
Exactly. So if the data is biased, the AI could perpetuate those biases.
And that could be really harmful in an educational setting.
Totally. We need to make sure these AI tools are designed and used in a way that's fair to all learners.
It's not just about throwing tech at the problem. It's about using it thoughtfully.
Right. And another concern people have is about teachers.
Yeah, will robots replace teachers altogether?
I don't think so. I see AI more as a partner for teachers.
Okay.
It can take over some of the tedious tasks, grading, paperwork, all that stuff.
Freeing up teachers to do what they do best.
Exactly. Connect with students, lead discussions, provide individual support.
So it's not about replacing human connection. It's about enhancing it.
That's the idea.
Well, Carrie, this has been a truly eye-opening conversation.
Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I want people to see that technology can really make learning more inclusive, more accessible for everyone, but it's up to all of us to use it responsibly.
Ethically.
Yeah, with a focus on equity and the well-being of all learners.
Beautifully said. And for our listeners who want to learn more, be sure to check out the show notes for links to Carrie's full paper and data set.
It's all there for anyone who wants to dive deeper.
Awesome. And that's a wrap for today, folks. Thank you all for joining us on this incredible journey into the future of learning. Until next time, keep those minds curious and never stop exploring.